Hey everyone, welcome back. I am going to attempt to stream an opening of this lovely box of From Nightmares, Final Fantasy trading card game 19th set. I swear it's written somewhere. Someone keeps telling me it is written somewhere on the box, but I can't seem to find it when I always look at it. I think I'm being gaslit, guys. Is it anywhere here? Yeah, no, they've officially stopped using the Opuses, but I refuse. I will always use the Opuses. Yeah. Gonna use a knife. Not a knife, a knife, because the YouTube and Twitch gods, I don't want to get yelled at. Yes, this is still a sealed one. I try and do everything I open on stream, barring some legitimate reason. I try and do purely still sealed. Let's take a look. The lovely box topper is Yuna. Forward 8k. When Yuna enters the field, choose one forward opponent controls. Oh! Danny wins! Thank you for the... Danny, you followed me before, right? Anyway, I'll let that finish. When Yuna enters the field, choose one forward opponent controls. If it cost is equal to or less than the number of category X characters you control, characters, not forward, put it at the top or bottom of its owner's deck. Damage 5, when Yuna enters the field, you may search for one category 10 character of cost 6 or less and play it onto the field, and it is a 4-cost wind water. I actually rate this card. I think it's really good. Let's get to the meat of the meeting. Packs. I'm gonna put them here because I like having the layout. God damn it. So many. There's so many packs, guys. Just so many packs. And hopefully I'll be doing the YouTube video soon. So we got first card. Yeah, totally, haha, definitely remember to follow you on Twitch before today. Definitely did take me till now to remember I hadn't done it. I can't be mad at you. SARS, 2-cost 5k forward. When SARS enters the field, you may search for one card named Dar and add it to your hand. When we get to Dar, we get to Dar. Aerith, 2-cost. Backup. Dull, put Aerith in the break zone. Choose one light card in your break zone, add it to your hand. Behemoth, 7 monster, which is only active. When Behemoth enters the field, you may pay Earth. When you do so, choose one forward. It cannot attack or block until the end of the next turn. Pay 1 Earth until end of turn. Behemoth also becomes a forward of 7k power. You can only use this ability once per turn. 4-cost Snow, 8k forward. If your opponent has 1 or less card in hand, Snow gets 2k power. When Snow blocks, your opponent discards a card. Ooh, I like this Monk. So we had a full cycle of these. Monk is the first one. They're based on doing 3 colors. When Monk enters the field, all the forwards you control get plus 2k power at end of turn, and then you choose a forward opponent controls and Monk fights it. Sorry, a Monk or choose a forward, deal damage equal to its power to the other. So essentially, at minimum, when you play this Monk, it becomes a 10k, and you do 10k to something else. There's a full cycle of these. Miyu. 4-cost backup. When you enter the field, you may search for one job, Agito Cadet, and add it to your hand. Pain, Gullwing, 7k, forward. When Pain enters the field, choose 2 cards from either player's break zone. If you control 3 or more category 10 characters, remove them from the game and draw a card. Our first full art, Leon. I'll read Leon. If you control 4 or more job rebels, Leon gets plus 4k power and haste. When Leon enters the field, you may search for one card named Maria and add it to your hand. I don't know how Warrior Rebels is going to do this set, but I'm liking this as an option to search for any of the Marias. And our that's actually a rare. And our heroic for the pack is Mog 6. It's our good little potato fairy. Look at how happy he always is. Forward 9k. The cost required to cast Mog is reduced by 1 for each category 6 character you control. When Mog 6 attacks, all the forwards you control gain first strike until end of turn. Damage 3, when Mog enters the field, choose one character, dull it, and freeze it. Draw a card, Water Ice Hybrid. Then we got Kuku Chebuki. Dull it, 6k forward. Dull it, choose one forward, deal it 2k damage. If it is put from the field into the break zone this turn, remove it from the game. We've been doing in pre-release. A few people have forgotten the remove from game instead. I only just realized it. Huh. Kuja. 2 cost backup. EX burst. When it enters the field, choose one forward of 2 cost or less, break it. Put Kuja into the break zone, choose one forward, dull it. And then Protoflorina. Protoflorian. I got it. First go. Monster. When Astro enters the field, you may pay 2 Earth. When you do so, choose one forward, break it. When Astro enters the field, you may pay 2 Earth. When you do so, choose one backup, break it. So for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you break a forward and a backup. Whether that's worth it, maybe. I'll say a soft maybe. And I mean very soft. Alright, off to a good start. Got our full art. My first full art in the fucking week. I think that's my 1 F-bomb on YouTube. Algo, 4 cost EX burst backup. When Algo enters the field, you may choose one multi-element card in your break zone, add it to your hand. I really like this. Riku, 2 cost backup. While playing the cost to cast category 10 cards, if Riku's on the field, Riku can produce CP of any element. It's also a good one. Undead Princess, one of the best princesses. Forward 2k. Put Undead Princess into the break zone. Choose one forward against 4k power until end of turn. Remove Undead Princess from the break zone from the game. Choose one Earth forward. It gets 2k power until the end of turn. You can only use this ability during your main phase, and if Undead Princess is in your break zone. Tohano, 2 cost backup. Gito Cadet, which might be valid now. When it enters the field, choose one forward, freeze it. Dull, put it in the break zone. Your opponent discards 1 card. You can only use this ability during your turn. I like this. I actually really like this. Titus, 6 cost EX burst 8k. When it enters the field, select one of the 2 following actions. Either return or forward to its owner's hand or draw a card. Princess is one of the top. Princess Undead, and Quacho Queen, I think, are the best. I'm feeling I'm missing one. I feel I'm missing one. But I'm not sure. Chimera, 1 cost monster. When Chimera enters the field, choose one character of cost 3 or less you control, break it. So you have to sacrifice something. If you have no targets when you cast this, you don't have to pay for it. I would like people to note that. If there is no target for you to break when you play it, you can still play it. It is when it enters the field, not at cast. Therefore, it gets around it. So heads up to people, just so you know that. Till end of the turn, Chimera also becomes a forward with 8k power. You can only use this ability once per turn. And the best way I could say to look at this is think of the 3 cost Lightning Gilgamesh. Zack, one of my big hitters in Draft and Limited. 5 cost Zack, Warp 2 Lightning Fire. When Zack enters the field, choose one forward, deal it 7k. If Zack enters the field from Warp, it gets Haste, First Strike, and Brave. Foil Astro, blah, 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 blah. We got one of the the Stooges. The Goons are the other ones. Dream Stooge 1. Mobius. 3 cost, 6k forward. If you control 3 or more Dream Stooges, the job Dream Stooge forwards you control get +2 power. When Mobius enters the field, choose one card named Kurlax or card named Laragorn in your break zone, add it to your hand. We had someone draft Stooges today. It was glorious to watch. 5 cost Emerald Disappointment. Forward 9k. When Emerald Disappointment is discarded from your hand due to your opponent's summons or abilities, you may pay 1. If you do so, you may play it from the break zone onto the field. Disappointment Big Bang. 3 Wind Dull. Deal 2k damage for each backup your opponent controls to all forwards your opponents control. Sephiroth. 6 cost backup, back attack, which means you can play it during your opponent's turn. The cost required to cast Sephiroth is reduced by 1 for each point of damage you've received. When Sephiroth enters the field, choose one dull forward, break it. Not bad, actually. Ash, 2 cost EX burst backup. When Ash enters the field, choose one forward, activate it. At the beginning of your attack phase, during each of your turns, you may return Ash to its owner's hand. Okay. That one I'm not sure about, that Ash. 2 cost backup Scholar. Put damage 3. When Scholar enters the field, choose one forward of cost 3 or less opponent controls. Break it. Put Scholar into the break zone. Choose one damaged forward. Deal it 8k damage. I like this, but that's because I used to play the mechanic a lot. Thief. If Thief is dealt damage by your opponent's abilities, the damage becomes 0. This is part of the monk cycle that I showed before. When Thief enters the field, if you had paid 3 different CP elements, your opponent puts 3 cards from the top of their deck into the break zone. Animist. 2 cost backup. Dull, pay 1. Put Animist in break zone. Search for 1 monster, 2 or less. Play it onto the field. Damage 3. When Animus enters the field, you may search for 1 monster of cost 4 or less and add it to your hand. Gramps! Gotta respect the Gramps. 2 cost EX burst backup. Damage 5. When Gramps enters the field, choose one forward of cost 4 or more. Break it. A little bit late, in my opinion. Tifa. 5 cost. Warp 3. Generic and fire. Brave. Tifa can attack twice in a turn. 9k. Probably vanilla warp as vanilla warps are gonna get, but I kind of like it because, I don't know, 9k they can attack twice for 2 seems kind of legit if you got it off. Vaan, EX Burst, Fire, Wind, 8k. EX Burst, when Vaan enters the field, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose one forward, deal it 5k damage. Activate all backups you control. Fire, Wind are not friends, in my opinion, but hopefully this set changes that. Ooh, Tonberry, 2 cost monster, also type Tonberry. When Tonberry enters the field, draw 1 card. You may discard 1 card until end of turn Tonberry becomes a 2k forward. When Tonberry deals damage to a forward, break it. You can only use this ability once per turn. So, Weenie Death Touch for discard. Foil Heroic, Maya. 9k forward. Brave. Category Mobius forwards other than Maya you control gain +1 power in Brave. When Maya enters the field, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Add up to 2 Category Mobius cards among them to your hand. Return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. So this is potentially a 1 cost. Like, that's pretty relevant. And I think there was a backup in this set. I don't know if it's in color for Water Earth that also pumps all Mobius characters. I have a feeling it's a wind backup, but maybe we'll find it. Barret. Best friend of multi-element. 4 cost Barret forward 8k. When you cast a multi-element card, deal 4k damage to all forwards opponent controls. When Barret is put from field into the break zone, choose 1 forward other than card named Barret in your break zone, add it to your hand. So essentially a 2 cost if it dies naturally. It's in the right colors Earth, which is the multicolor element. But I don't know if we're going to be seeing a very heavy multi-element deck. I'll be curious to see if anyone does anything with Barret. I'm tempted to try to, but the fact it relies on Barret, it's ETB, which means it's amiable, makes me feel it's just not going to be strong. One of the furry walls. Moogle suit. Type job Moogle. I guess that is his job. Forward 5k. When Wall enters the field, if there are 3 different elements among characters you control, you may search for 1 multi-element forward and add it to your hand. Again, assisting multi-element, but not really. Chocobo Eater. No, my nemesis. You just yeet it out here. No. I'll read it. Monster. When Chocobo Eater enters field, choose 1 forward of cost 2 or less opponent controls. Remove it from the game for as long as Chocobo Eater is on field. So, Soul Ring. Put it in the prison. Genova Synthesis. 9k, 5 cost forward. When Genova Synthesis enters the field, deal 4k damage to all forwards opponent control. If you control 5 or more Earth backups, deal 8k damage to all forwards they control instead. So, mono Earth, but Earth doesn't like being mono, so 5 cost, maybe? 8k's not... 8k's on curve, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Unfortunately, card power scale has changed so much since I started. What normally would have been, oh, this card is awesome, is now just a little bit late. I think we've seen this Yuna already. Zooms in. No, we haven't seen this one yet. Come on. There's that pretty face. 5 cost Yuna backup. When Yuna enters the field, your opponent selects 1 forward they control, put it into the break zone. There is a summon that does this for 3. It is also EX burst. It also cannot be Amied. And there are better Yunas. But you get to see butt, I guess. Butt is a thing. I don't know. Speaking of butt. Cloud of Darkness. 5 cost 9k. Damage 3 Cloud of Darkness gains Brave. Cloud Darkness enters the field. Choose one monster opponent controls. Break it. I don't know how desperate you are for monster removal. I guess this is an option in Ice now if you're willing to pay the 5. This is Dar, the one SARS searches for when he enters. Backup, EX Burst. When Dar enters the field, you may discard 1 card. If you do so, draw 1 card. Not actually bad for a 2-cost backup. It's pretty good for a turn 1 mulligan of 1 card, so not the worst. And the card name SAR you control gains plus 1k power and first strike. 5-cost Graph forward 9k. When Graph enters the field, choose 1 forward. If the cost to cast Graph was paid with Earth CP, break it. Mono in Earth I just don't like. Like, it's Earth. It's the multicolor element. Kane, 2-cost backup, back attack. When Kane enters the field, choose 1 forward. It gains first strike. So he has first strike on entering because you can play during opponent's turn and then give something else first strike. It's flavor of flavor. It is literally Dragoon. Uke, this is the ice one of that cycle. 4-cost 8k, first strike. When Uke enters the field, choose 1 dull forward. If the cost to cast Uke was paid with 3 CP or more, different elements, break it. Garnet, I haven't paid attention to this Garnet, I'll be honest. 8k forward hybrid, Earth Water. Warp to Earth Water. When Garnet enters the field, choose 1 summon in your break zone, add it to your hand. When Garnet enters the field due to warp, choose 1 summon in your break zone, add it to hand. So if you warp it, you get net 2 of 2 cards you want from bin and 8k 3 cost. That's actually pretty decent, and Earth Water is the big summon control deck, so I think this is pretty good. Foil Titus that we've seen. Garbage. Oh! We're getting them! We're getting the Stooges! We're on 2! We're on 2! Kurlax, 3-cost 6k forward. When Come on, come on, camera. Camera, I love you, but please. Please, there we go. When a Job Dream Stooge you control is put from the field into the break zone, your opponent discards 1 card. And then this one gets it back. Pay 0. Choose 1 forward, dull it, and freeze it. You can only use this ability if you control Mobius and Laragorn, and only once per turn. Once per turn, so your opponent's turn as well. So we've got Kurlax and Mobius so far. Edgar, 2-cost backup. Pay 2 generic fire, dull Edgar, put it into the break zone. Choose 1 card named Sabin of 4-cost to list in break zone. Play it onto the field. Auto cross special dull. Choose 1 up to 3 forwards. Deal them 5k. I don't like this. We got Tonberry Suit Furry Wall. Forward 9k. Wall cannot attack. Special S dull. Choose 1 forward. Deal at 9k damage. This damage cannot be reduced. I want someone to build mono wall now. It's terrible. Don't do it, but I want to see it still. 4-cost Shiva Summon. If an ice forward has entered the field during this turn, the cost required to cast Shiva is reduced by 4. Choose 1 forward opponent controls, dull it and freeze it, draw a card. So potentially 0-cost dull freeze card draw. Not bad in mono ice. And mono ice I think is getting better and better. So I kind of really like this. I don't know if I can fit it into the ice deck, because that deck is already just having trouble being what it wants to be, because unfortunately the problem with ice is you're going to have to put compromising low power level cards just to make stuff work, and that's its biggest weakness. You can't just run consistent value in it. But you know, which we've seen. We haven't seen Flan yet. 1-cost monster. When Flan enters the field, you may search... when Flan is put from the field into the break zone, you may search for 1 card named Flan, add it to your hand. Till end of turn, Flan also becomes a 3k power forward. You can only use this ability during your turn. We've seen Daj, we've seen Scholar. Eldnacht. 5-cost 9k forward. When Eldnacht... oh, it's not even... it's Nash. Not Nacht. Nacht is the other one. Enters the field, you may discard 1 card. When you do so, choose 1 forward, break it. So... pay 7 to play a 9k and break a forward. That's also an amiable ability. It is not a cost, so at least you don't discard first. So if they ammy it, you don't discard the card. Okay. So at least you don't lose the card. Wait, is it part of the cost? No, it's not. Yeah, no dot dash. Cool. Numu! 2-cost backup. Dull. Put Numu into the break zone. Choose 1 character, dull it, and freeze it. Damage 3. When Numu enters the field, your opponent discards 1 card. Larkesis. I wonder if he helps monsters. 3-cost 7k forward. When Larkesis enters the field, choose 1 monster of 3 cost or less in your break zone. Put it onto the field. Who would have guessed? We got 4-cost Buddy. Backup. When Buddy enters the field, you may search one category 10 backup and add it to your hand. This is good. This is really good. This is the Nostalen of category 10 decks. This is really good. Like searching any category 10 backup that might be off color. Well, Barry needs to be here to dibs it. It is foil. But this is good. This is very good. And if 10 can get a decent... Even if 10 doesn't get decent, using this to search up an alternate color, which Nostalen, I think, can search up every single color. There is a Nostalen target in each color. But yeah, this is really good in my opinion. Cherukiki! Yo! The category 11. Forwards you control can use action abilities with dull in the cost as though they had haste. Search for up to 1 card Cuckoo Chibuki and 1 card Makiki Chibuki and play them onto the field. 5k forward. Yo! All hail the Chibukikis. We got a normal Leon, which you've seen. We have not seen this Ricard. Look at his... There we go. Richard, 3-cost backup. When Richard enters the field, reveals all 5 cards of your deck. Add 1 lightning card among them to your hand. Return the other cards to the bottom of your deck in any order. Dull, put Richard into the break zone. Choose 1 forward. It gains first strike till end of turn. So this is essentially a 0 cost if you tap a backup and discard a card. But, Dragoon. That's the important part. There's Nacht. 6-cost EX Burst. If a forward has entered your field due to warp this turn, the cost required to cast Nacht is reduced by 5. EX Burst. When Nacht enters the field, choose 1 forward you control and 1 forward opponent controls. Each forward deals damage equal to its power to the other. Get in the box. Thank you. Embarrassing me on stream. Zoo! 2-cost monster. When a dull character you control is active due to your summons or abilities until end of the turn, Zoo becomes a forward with 8k power. This effect will trigger only once per turn. Earth does this a lot, but paying 2 for no real immediate gain in a storm color, not really feeling it. Artemis, we've seen Artemis. White Mage, 2-cost backup. Pay 1 dull, put White Mage in the break zone, choose 1 forward, opponent controls, return to its owner's hand. Damage 3, when White Mage enters the field, draw a card. Not bad. Gramps we've seen. We've seen Tifa. Shadow Lord we haven't. 6 costs 9k forward. When Shadow Lord enters the field, your opponent discards 1 card and you draw 1 card. Nah, I'm good. 2-cost Bomb Monster. If you control 3 or more fire backups, Bomb also becomes a forward of 5k power. And when Bomb is put from field into break zone, choose 1 forward, deal it 2k damage. When Bomb enters the field, you may dull 2 fire backups you control. If you do so, search for 1 card named Bomb and of 2 or less and play it onto the field. Maybe with... but I still feel Goblins does it better and cheaper and better. I'm not feeling it. Maybe. I could see it working with Goblins, but I don't know if there's room for it. Because you're paying 4 for 4. You're getting possibly 2 forwards out there when they die do 2k. And they're 5k each. I don't know. Maybe. I actually don't know. I'm not completely disregarding it, but I'm also not in love with it. We saw the Shiva. Sarah Mobius. Twilight Queen. I did not know that. Forward 8k. Sarah Mobius cannot attack or block, so she's just a complicated monster. Dull, choose a forward. It gets 2k power until end of turn. Dull, choose 2 forwards, dull them. Dull, choose 1 opponent's auto abilities. If your opponent doesn't pay 2, cancels effect. So it's an Ami your opponent can see in ice. Serum. Wait, what? Oh, there's 2 of them. Huh. I did not realize that. Oh, that's actually the hero. That's a legend? Wait, excuse you? Ugh, Jeez. Like, I'm used to seeing bad legends because this game doesn't use the rarity system like most games do. This is more just upkeeping, but even for this game, that's bad, I think. So 3 cost, Sarah Mobius, Wind, backup. Oh, there it is. Category Mobius, forwards you control, get plus 1k power. Come on. Are you also a Twilight... Camera! What the hell's going on? Camera! There we go. Raven Perez. Ugh. Earth Lightning Vanille just does the tap for bad Amaterasu effect better. This one has at least modes and other stuff. Oh, new bad Nostalen. Nothing will beat the win Nostalen. 2 cost Nostalen, forward 5k. Nostalen's field, select one of the 2 following actions. Use the category FFCC forward other than card name Nostalen in your break zone. Add it to your hand. Choose 1 card name Wattrel forward in your break zone. Play it onto the field? Maybe, but I still like the other one better. And we saw Sadwall. Vanille has haste? I thought Vanille still needed a turn, didn't it? Oh no, Vanille is dull. Yeah, you're right. That is true, but Vanille is easier to shoot than this is. Not if you're using for the tech, you don't care about the Mobius or the Sarah Mobius name. We've seen Cloud of Darkness. We haven't seen Monk. 2 cost backup. Put Monk into the break zone. Choose 1 attacking forward. It gets 4k power end of turn. Damage 3 when Monk enters the field. Choose 1 forward. Deal it 7k damage. I don't think you're wrong, Danny, but I think this one still has some tech to it. Because, yeah, you don't care about that stuff. But, yeah, we're getting a lot of Mobius this set. I think we did this. We did the Graph. We did Thief. We haven't seen this Vincent. I'm not getting in trouble for that, I hope. 2 cost Vincent. Backup. When Vincent enters the field, choose 1 forward. Deal it 5k damage. Damage 3. Dull. Put Vincent into break zone. Choose 1 forward. Deal it 7k damage. Blaze? Blaze wants his gun back? I don't know. Oh. We saw Yuke. We saw Garnet. Gao! Foil Heroic. 2 cost back attack 4k. When Gao enters the field, choose 1 category 6 forward you control. Until end of turn, it gains plus 1k power for each category 6 category you control. Character, shit, that includes backups. For 2, that's... That might be reasonable. It's water though, not ice. Why couldn't you be ice? Pay 1 dull, put Gao on top of its owner's deck, shuffle your deck, draw a card. I actually interested in this. Something water has trouble with is putting cards back in deck, except for Ultros. So having another option, maybe, I don't know. Sid Highwind. 5 cost forward, dull, return 1 category 7 character other than Sid Highwind to its owner's hand. Choose 2 characters, activate them. You can only use this ability once per turn. Category 7 does not care about wind. Oh, it might now, but Avalanche. Wait. Yeah, it's an engine. Ooh, engineer. Damn it. We finally have another engineer, and it only works with fucking... I hate this. Engineers keep getting screwed, and I hate it. What the... R&D of Final Fantasy trading card game. What problem do you have with engineers? Like, honestly, who hurt you? Point on the wrench where the engineers hurt you. 2 cost Bulbasaur. Monster. When a forward of your opponents enters the field, you may put Bulbasaur into the break zone. When you do so, deal it 8k damage. Bulbasaur deals you 1 point of damage. Maybe there is a lot of self-cut decks, and I do love anything that says I take a damage because I love trapping people. But I don't know if it has a spot where fire does that damage, but more efficiently. Behemoth. When Behemoth enters the field, choose 1 forward of cost 5 or less. Break it. Maybe for 5. They pay 5, I pay 5. Or I paid 5, they paid 4. Maybe. The beginning of the attack step during each of your turns, choose 1 forward opponent controls. Dull it. Again, maybe. It can be ammied, but it won't die, so you got that every turn. I was about to do that, Fox. Thank you. 5 cost Rydia. Summoner backup. When Rydia enters the field, you may search for up to 1 job summoner and 1 job summon that don't share elements and add them to your hand. I think we have so many good Rydias, but damn, this one is a sweet one. It basically costs 1. A 1 cost backup that lets you set up your combo. And if one of those cards is Sildra? 4 cost water backup that lets you search for 2 things that are water or 5. I think it's Sildra. Then you're basically setting up combos off the combos. I've got to remember that for later, but thank you. Ghost Games. Oh, Ghost Games is done. Nice. I still need to start that because I want to do things with that show. We've already seen Butsuna. We've seen Cloud. We've seen Dar. We've seen Graf. We've seen Yuke. We've seen Titus. We've seen... Why are you in here? Why are you in here? You're not even a new crystal. We've seen you in 2 sets already, I think. Yes. And there isn't a crystal generator or user in this set. Why do you exist? I love my crystals, don't get me wrong. But there's no crystals in this set. So why have a... It's a token for something that doesn't exist in the set. Oh, and Titus. 4 cost light card, 8k forward. Let it zoom in. I'll just start reading while it does its thing. When Titus enters the field, choose 1 forward of cost 5 or less opponent controls. Put it at the bottom of its owner's deck. Remove 20 cards from the break zone in the break zone from the game. Play Titus onto the field. You can only use this ability during your main phase, and if Titus is in your break zone. I actually don't mind this, but we've already got like so many light cards that do stuff. We've seen you. We've seen you. We haven't seen Wattrel. 2 cost forward. Oh! Someone owes me a freaking beer! I said there is a crystal generator in this game, and now I was told no. This set has... I literally went on a rant because someone convinced me there is no... There is. There is... Fucking... Paulie! Paulie! If Paulie comes onto this, I'm yelling. I knew there was one. I knew there was one. I remember seeing the crystal symbol. Okay. You're validated. If only you were ice, not water, but yeah. Wattrel, at the end of every turn, make a crystal. That's... Huh. Cannot be ammied because it's at the end step. 5k body means it's shootable, but if you're shooting this dude, crystals are valid in ice. Huh. And I just love that it came in the fucking pack that had the... Yeah, Paulie! Paul, no, you didn't say playable. I said that there was 1 generator and 1 user in this set, and everyone's like, no, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know card games. Like, I freaking knew there was one. You owe me! You embarrassed me on stream! Why do I listen to other people? Terra, 4 cost EX burst backup. Terra enters field, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose 1 dull forward, deal it AK damage. Choose 1 summon your break zone, add it to your hand. Ice isn't really using summons as much as it used to anymore. But I kind of like this card. I just don't know. There was an asterisk in... No, there wasn't! Oh, in the last one. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm gonna get you guys back for that. Like all day today, I was like, no. I thought I was right, but apparently I'm wrong. 2 cost Sophia. Sophia? Yeah, Sophia. Forward 5k. At the beginning of your attack phase during each of your turns, choose 1 forward opponent controls. It loses 2k power until end of turn. 3 cost Janai. Forward 7k. Choose 1 forward dull it. Choose 1 forward dull it. Pay 4 to activate Janai. I actually like this card. I just can't figure out a use for it. Lightning is getting all the dull effects at start of turn, but it just doesn't do enough. Barts, 2 cost 5k. Dull, put Barts on the bottom of your deck, draw 2 cards. Maybe for Storm, but I don't know. I don't know. It's not an immediate effect. Storm needs the immediate effect stuff. Like, it can be a setup card, but if you're playing a setup card in the deck instead of an immediate effect, you're probably not playing the deck right, I want to say. Or maybe someone will break this. Someone might break this. I don't know. 2-cost Kane back attack. We've seen Kane. We've seen Tonberry. We've seen Varn. Foil Tifa. We've seen Gao. Alexander. If a win forward has entered the field this turn, the cost to reduce cost Alexander is reduced by 4. It is a 4-cost summon. Choose one of the 2 following actions. Choose a monster of a forward of cost 5 or more. Break it. Choose one monster. Break it. Draw a card. For 0, yeah. If monsters has become heavy in the meta, then this probably will go into mono wind, because 0 cost, break a monster, draw a card is really good, and the deck does play a reasonable amount of of forwards to make that work. 3-cost Ifrit summon. If a 5 forward has entered the turn, the cost required to cast Ifrit is 3. So the pattern for these summons is they're 0 cost if you've played a forward of its color. Choose one forward, deal at 7k damage. 7k damage is not here or there, but maybe for 0. Oh, look, a good Vincent, maybe. 3-cost Vincent, forward 7k. When Vincent enters the field, choose up to 3 backups, freeze them. Yeah, I rate that. Dull, choose one character, freeze it. Nightmare Shot, Ice Special Dull, choose one forward, deal at 8k damage. The fact this isn't a dull requirement, just outright 8k might be worth it, but it's a special. So I'd put it back into the nah pile. I'm definitely getting a foil playset and holding it in case. You're talking about... Wait, which card? 2-cost Vanille. We haven't seen this Vanille. Backup. When Vanille enters the field, choose one card in your opponent's break zone, remove it from the game. Alexander, yeah. No, I have a feeling Alexander is very potential heavy if a monster meta comes in. Dull. Choose one summon your opponent. If your opponent doesn't pay 2, cancel its effects. Other Vanille does... Oh no. This is summon. Maybe? Lael, though? Lael has got a cost requirement. I think Lael is 4 cost or less summon. Maybe? It's good control for Earth, but I don't think Earth cares. Edge. When Edge enters the field, place 3 Shuriken counters on Edge. Dull. Remove a Shuriken counter from Edge. Choose one forward, deal at 5k damage. That's at least a bit more relevant. I do like this Matoya. Dances. Oh, I'm loving dances, but I can't get them to work. When Matoya enters the field, choose one forward. Its power becomes 4k until end of turn. Pay 2 wind and 1 generic. Put Matoya into the break zone. Deal 4k damage to all forwards opponent controls. You're paying 7 to kill at least one thing. Dancer. Maybe. I don't know. I want dancers to be good. I want dancers to work because I want to build a deck called Dancing on Your Grave, and I want it to top somewhere. And I want it to actually be dancers. We've seen SARS, card name clash with Edgier. We've seen Torna. I'm trying not to show off. We've seen Monk. We've seen Shadow Lord. Foil Watril. This is a curse on you, Paul. This is a curse on you, Paul. A pox on your Watril, Paul. And Anima. Anima's an interesting one. I found it whiffs more than it works, so I don't like it. But that could be my testing. Anima. 9k forward. When Anima enters field, choose 2 cards in your break zone and remove them from the game. At the end of your turn, remove the top card of your deck from the game. Then if there are 5 or more cards removed by Anima's ability, add them to your hand and break all forwards opponent controls. So I made a mistake with this card when I first played it. I thought it was choose 2 cards in your library and exile them under it. I was playing it the bad way. This is the good way. And I wish I had done this because it would have actually stopped me losing a couple of games. Sometimes at pre-release, you just misread or misinterpret a card. It happens. This cost me a couple of wins, but it was pre-release. But yeah, I only just realized I made that mistake. So maybe it's not as bad as I thought. You only lose up 2 cards at worst from the top of the deck. By the way, for people who don't realize it, which I had to explain, when you get to the 5 cards and draw them, you still exile continuing the next turn. So his ability doesn't stop the first time. You are continually exiling a card to him. We've seen Ceremobius, we've seen Chocobo Ida, and we've seen Astral, blah, blah, blah. Anima is the scariest card that will never do anything. Yeah, it's good as a shot to lure, but you still lose 2 cards off the top at random. So, yeah, I'm not really feeling it, but that's one of the cards I feel I could be wrong. Sad Aerith, because it read its own card. Behemoth. We have seen the Snow. We have seen Elgo. We haven't seen Clavat. 4-cost forward 8k. When Clavat enters the field, draw 1 card, discard 1 card. When Clavat enters the field, if the cost to cast Clavat was paid to 3 CP or more different elements, your opponent selects 1 forward they control and put it into the break zone. There is a 3-cost EX burst that can't be Amied that does this. Is this the second card? Yeah, this is the second card that does that. That's amiable. And this one's a forward, so this one would actually die to Ami. Or at least the other one was a backup. We've seen Chimera. We've seen Zac. Foil the Deathlord. Look at him. Look at the little adorable edgelord. Isn't he cute? He thinks he's Alucard. Backup. Pay an Earth, and a generic Dull. Put Deathlord into break zone. Choose up to 2 characters in your break zone. Add them to your hand. Then Deathlord deals you 1 point of damage. I don't know how I feel about this. 2 cards of your choice from bin, but you're paying 3 to do it. So if you've used him more than 3 times, or more than... Actually, you had to use this backup for resource 5 times before it's a pure net gain, I think. 1 damage can be good, but 1 damage can also be bad, even though I love this. Yeah, there's a lot of decks that want to hit itself. That's the thing. A lot of decks want to hit itself, so I kind of feel the 1 point of damage is not a downside. But you're paying 4 to get 4 that turn, because you're also dulling him, so you're losing him. So you had to have used him a few times to make up for the 2 costs you paid initially. So the math is a bit wonky. If he's a turn 1 play, he can be fantastic. But I think that's about it. We saw the box topper version. We've seen Leon. We haven't seen Sapphire Disappointment. We've seen Emerald Disappointment. We haven't seen Sapphire Disappointment. 5 cost 9k forward. If you control 5 or more job disappointments in your break zone, the cost required to cast Sapphire Disappointment is reduced by 5. When Sapphire Disappointment is put from field into the break zone, draw 2 cards. You have to be playing Mono Disappointment. And we've seen a Stalin. We've seen this Riku. We've seen Undead Princess. We've seen Butts. Well, you haven't seen Dragoon. 4-cost Dragoon. Haste. 8k forward. When Dragoon enters the field, choose 1 forward of cost 3 or less. If the cost to cast Dragoon was paid with cost of CP of 3 or different elements, break it. This will either be run purely as a Haste Dragoon or never see play. There are better Haste Dragoons with more wording that work. So I say this is probably going to be Trash Goon. It's not even a 3-cost standard unit to get back with the backup. So, yeah. Richard was better. We've seen Miyu. We've seen Lachesis. We've seen Numu. Foil Vertulade. 2-cost forward 7k. If a guinea pig counter is placed on blah blah blah, gain when blah 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 attacks dull all forwards opponent controls. Wait, what? If a guinea pig counter is placed on it, it gains when it attacks dull all forwards opponent controls. Okay. And it becomes a 9k. So whenever a counter is put on it... Oh. Ignore that. So... Oh, I'll fix that. Yeah. So when a counter is put on this, it becomes a 9k and attacks dull all opponents... Yeah, dull all opponents forwards. Remove the top 5 cards of your deck from the game to put 1 guinea pig counter on it. Damage 3 haste. Ugh. 3 cards off the top is a heavy price. I know decks that want to self-mill, but they're not this color. That is a heavy price. If this was in Ice... Ice or... Ice Lightning. I'd say Ice Lightning this might have worked. I guess you could just pay 5, mill 5 to try and win, but Ami. And yeah, this is a cost, so you would lose the 5. Yeah, I don't think so. It's amiable. You still lose the 5 cards off the top. Late game to win. I don't think it's scary. Nah, I just... If you die to this, you've probably... If you die to this, you were probably losing to something better, and this was just the finisher. Honestly. Sophie. I kind of like this art. I like the bat. 4 cost, 7k forward, freelancer. I love that. Warp 1, 1 wind. When Sophie enters the field, select up to the same number of 3 following actions as the forwards you control other than Sophie. Oh, okay, so if you got other forwards. For some reason I wrote that as backups. I'm used to it always being backups. Choose 1 monster, break it. Activate all the backups you control. Until end of turn, Sophie gets plus 2k power and haste. I like this. Like, everyone's like, oh, but the other one takes a turn to work. This costs 1 and warp. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Alright, hold on. Activate backups you control is useless if you warp it, because they're already untapped unless you got dull effects. So maybe with Choco Leader? Choose 1 monster, break it until Sophie gets plus 2 power and haste. Actually, no. I'm changing my mind. You warp it, you don't get the full value that Storm wants, because it comes in at the start of your turn. Or summon, but Storm doesn't play... But Storm summons you don't want to play first. That's the issue. Storm summons is... the 1 cost that untaps your backups or gets Luso back from bin. Chocobo, which kills... Chocobo, which bounces something to your hand to draw a card. Or the kill spell one that draws you a card if you got a Moogle on the field. None of those you want to do at the start of your turn. They're all part of a chain. And this forces you to use them out of sequence of the chain. So... Maybe, but I think there are... Nah. I'm actually thinking that does not even see Storm. The new wind forward that you can take a warp counter off. Yeah, but then you're not playing Storm. But this does Storm stuff, but it does Storm stuff out of sync, so... So I don't think so. It's... Yes, maybe, but then you're playing a different deck. And then the abilities are useless because you... Yeah, I don't know. It's trying to do one thing, but also doing another. Emperor FFL 5 cost. Yeah, because if you're playing that 4 cost one that removes Warp, you're not playing Storm anymore. Reveal the top card of your deck if it is a... a special dull. Reveal top card of your deck. If it is a forward, deal 8k damage to all forwards opponent controls. If it's backup, down freeze all characters opponent control. If it's a summon or monster, draw 4 cards. This is a joke. This is set 1 Gilgamesh just to remind us that set 1 once existed. Limited, maybe, but I had 3 of these in limited and I did this none times. It's cute. It's a reminder of set 1. We've seen Alexander, and I haven't seen Fenrir. 3 cost summon. If you cast the Earth forward, it's a 0 cost. Choose 1 multi-element forward, break it. Choose 1 light or dark forward, break it. Maybe. It's definitely Fenrir in terms of flavor, but in terms of playability, I don't know. There are just better removal that kills everything. So, nah. I think I'm good. We have seen the Flan. We've seen Da. We've seen Scholar. We've seen Eld. We saw Titus. We've seen Pain. We've seen Garnet. Foil Starter Vanille. I'll read it out anyway. This is from the starter deck. 3 cost Vanille EX. Forward 7k. When Vanille enters the field, you may search for 1 card named Lightning or search for 1 card named Lightning, card named Fang, or card named Hope, and add it to your hand. Special, no dull, just pure special. During this turn, if a forward opponent controls is dealt damage, double that damage instead. Deal 2k damage to all forwards opponent controls. It's a special, so yeah. I think that's the second one of these I've gotten. Jeez, I keep opening junk, but not actual cards I want. We got a foil Mayor, so we have seen the Mayor. We haven't seen... Yes, we haven't seen this one. Kuki Chibuki. The Tear. Oh no, we have seen Tear. We've seen Tear and we've seen Yo. We haven't seen the other one. We've seen Behemoth. Leviathan we haven't seen. 3 costs. If you've played a water forward, it costs 0. Choose 1 forward opponent controls. Return it to its owner's hand until end of the next turn. Your opponent cannot cast any copies of it. Water just has such premium summons that anything else feels like a waste. Like, just, yeah. SARS. We've seen, buddy. Larsa we haven't seen. Back up. When Larsa enters the field, you may discard 1 card. When you do so, search 1 category 12 forward, add it to your hand. 1 water dull, put Larsa into break zone. Choose 1 forward during this turn. The next damage dealt to it is reduced by 2k. Litli is the Monk Fire one. 8k forward Brave. If you've cast with 3 CP or more, deal something 8k. Levat we've seen. We've seen Alucard Wannabe. Gilgamesh Mesh. Forward 8k Warp 1 Wind Lightning. Haste Brave. Hurricane Special. Lightning Wind Generic. Dull. Choose 1 forward, break it. I got this off. I got this off in limited more than FFL. Gilgamesh. Ooh, another foil Prish for me. I know people who may want this. 3 cost Prish forward 9k. Warp to 2 generic Ice Earth. When Prish is removed from hand from the game due to Warp, choose 1 forward, deal it 8k damage. So you pay 4 to deal 8k to something immediately. Then when it enters the field, choose 1 forward and up to 1 backup, dull and freeze them. So I think this is really good, but I don't know how Earth Ice is going to exist. Sarban. I both love and hate this. 4 cost 8k Monk forward. If you control 4 or more category 6 characters, the cost required to cast Sabin is reduced by 2. When Sabin enters the field, choose up to the same number of forwards opponent controls as category 6 characters put into the break zone from field this turn. So if you've lost 1 forward, 1 category 6, you get 1 target. 2 category 6 died this turn, you get 2 targets, 3, so on. So it's how many have been put from field to break zone. Choose that many targets and deal them 8k damage. I love more 6, but I don't like it. Speaking of failures, Emperor. Speaking of disappointments, Sapphire. Speaking of Fenrir. I think we're about halfway. No, just under halfway. We've seen Zoo. We've seen Terra. We just saw Larsa. We've seen Janai. We've seen Bad Vincent. We've seen Titus. We've seen Bomb. Ooh. We haven't seen Lightning. 5 cost forward 9k. Haste. When Lightning's put from field into the break zone, you may play 1 category 13 forward of cost 6 or less from your hand onto the field. Discard a card named Odin. Choose 1 forward opponent controls. Break it and Lightning. Maybe. This might have potential as a combo piece. And it might give the element Lightning some opportunity with the category 13. So maybe. I want to tamper with a 13, and we've got the new 13 deck that came out recently as well, so I'm interested in this. Sin, the card that is almost useless and limited, I feel, though people have argued against it, but I have not seen it. 6 cost Dark forward 9k. If you have received 6 points of damage, the cost required to cast Sin is reduced by 6. If Sin leaves the field, remove Sin from the game instead. When Sin enters the field due to your cast, your opponent selects 1 forward or backup they control. For every 2 points of damage you have received, select as many as possible. Put them into the break zone. So, cool effect. Fun when you're at 6. 0 cost, they sack 3 things. 9k body. It reads really well, but it feels off to me. I will just say that. But I will admit it reads really well when you're on 6 damage. And this is what I was saying, that sometimes taking damage isn't the worst thing. And I play a lot of heavy self-damage decks, so this fits into my sort of playstyle and theme. But I just... a 6 cost Dark card early when you're still setting up just feels like it just shoots yourself in the knee. Behemoth. Evray. 1 cost monster. 0. Choose 1 backup you control. Activate it. You can only use this ability once per turn. This reads, I am possibly your 6th backup. This is a backup that breaks your backup limit. In wind. Amazing. Amazing. Love it. Fantastic. Great. Bye-bye, Fenrir. Just, you have 6 backups now. In a Storm deck. And it counts as one of the Storm when you cast it. It does all the things. We've seen Zoo, we've seen Terra, we've seen Larsa, we've seen Janai, we've seen Tifa, we've seen Bomb, we've seen Deathlord, we've seen Bad Vincent. God, all the darkness. All the darkness in a row. 9 cost Arc. Let it zoom in, because this one's actually important. Come on. Camera. There we go. The cost required to cast Arc is reduced by 1 for each CP required to cast the highest cost Dark forward you control. So if you got a 1 cost Dark forward out, it's reduced by 2. If you got a 1 cost reduces by 1, 2 cost reduces by 2, 3 cost reduces by 3. So whatever the cost of the Dark forward you control. Choose 1 forward opponent controls, break it. Your opponent discards 2 cards. Read's really good. 9 cost that is reduced, but you have to be playing Dark. So if you got that Sin out... Wait, did I put... Yeah, if you got the Sin out, this is a 3 cost, but you have to have the Sin out. So... And then you're running at least 2 Dark cards that may clash when you draw. It's risky, but I don't think it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think this is the last one. Ramu, 3 cost. If you've played a Lightning forward, Ramu costs 0. Choose 1 forward of cost 3 or less, deal at 8k damage. Why did it have to say 3 or less? Emerald Disappointment we've seen, and Rydia we've seen. So far, I've not gotten any other cards I actually need. Ooh, we haven't seen Luna yet. 4 cost fire backup. When Luna enters field, deal 5k damage to all forwards opponent controls. Blaze wants his hair back? I don't know. I feel like every one of these has just been a Blaze wannabe, but I still think Blaze is the better one. Buddy we've seen. Sophia we've seen. We haven't seen Lean. 3 cost backup Scientist. When Lean enters the field, if your opponent has 1 card or less in their hand, you may search for 1 card, add it to your hand. I see potential in this, but I don't like it. Maybe if it was a 2 cost, I'd risk it. We've seen Bartz, we've seen Vaughn, we've seen White Mage, we've seen Numu, we haven't seen Golbez. 4 cost Warlock, forward 8k. Warp 4 for Lightning and 2 generic. When a Warp counter is removed from Golbez, you may play 1 Job Archfiend from your hand onto the field. When you do so, draw a card. This effect will trigger only if Golbez is removed from the game. All Job Archfiends forwards you control get +3 power. You have to be playing Archfiends, and if you're playing Archfiends, you're running 2 other Golbezes? No. Maybe? No, I think that's a no. If someone proves me wrong, someone proves me wrong, but I think that's a no. Like, running Break Bez and Archfiend Bez and then Warp Bez... Yeah, that just feels too clunky, too sporadic. We've seen Bufasaur, we've seen Richard. We haven't seen Joseph. 3 cost forward, 7k Rebel Monk. If you control a card named Furion, Joseph gains +2k power, and when Joseph attacks, draw a card. When Joseph enters the field, you may play 1 Category 2 forward of cost 3 or less from your hand onto the field. Cheap for Category 2 might be important right now. I don't know if the Category 2 deck has potential, but having a card that can cheat in off-element Category 2s is interesting, but the fact that Leon is also trying to be a Rebels warrior deck means that Category 2 is fighting between being a warrior deck or being a Category 2 deck, which might clash enough to not make it worth it. That's going to be the big question, I think. They'll eventually put a playable Archfiend in the game, I swear. There are playable Archfiends that work okay, it's just not with that mechanic. We saw Lean, we've seen Behemoth, we've seen Elgo, we've seen Matoya, we've seen Tono, we've seen Monk, we've seen White Mage, Foil Da, we've seen the Emperor. Okay. This is a card. This is a very important card for one very specific reason. You see that it says Ice Earth on it? Ignore this. This is the only card, or one of the few cards, I don't know if someone has one to counter this, that is colorless. And I'll explain why. Warp to generic. This can go into every deck. Warp to generic. So not a 4 cost, not an Earth Ice card, Warp 2 generic. Warp 2, so it takes two of your upkeeps to enter the field. 9k forward. When the Emperor enters the field due to an ability, Warp counts as an ability. So this is part of the Warp. Warp is an ability, which is why it's amiable. So the Warp works. When the Emperor enters the field due to an ability, select one of the 2 following actions. So if you cheat him in other ways as well, it works. Remove all cards in your opponent's break zone for the game, or choose one forward in your break zone and add it to your hand. This is recursion in any color. For 2, and 2 turns. Yeah, it's an actually colorless card that discards 4 resources. You can discard this for Ice or Earth, or 2 generic for another color. I don't know if the effects are worth it, but I would really pay attention to this card as goes everywhere. The only problem it has is the Emperor, which can clash, but I haven't seen the Emperor played for a while, but it's pure colorless, essentially. It's a perfect colorless card. And the effects are relevant. Discarding your... exiling your opponent's entire break zone, even though they get to see it 2 turns coming in, or if you cheat it another way, you know, you fucking Star Sybil this. Or choose a forward in your break zone and add it to your hand. So it costs 0. It costs 0. And it's a 9k body. You're either paying 2 backups and it nets you 2 resource, or you're discarding a shit card to get a good card forward back. So I like it. I like it. It may never see play anywhere, but I think it's an important enough. It's got important enough text that it needs to be seen. We've seen Ruby Disappointment. We haven't seen Ruby Disappointment yet. 6 cost forward 9k. I'll let it zoom in. Yeah, even the camera is disappointed in the weapons. If Ruby Disappointment is dealt damage, that damage becomes 1k instead. When Ruby Disappointment blocks dull Ruby weapon, what's Whirl Sand special. Choose one forward, remove it from the game. You can lose the ability if your opponent controls 2 or more forwards. Ruby Disappointment is disappointing. We've seen Chocobo Eater. I don't know if we've ever seen a Warp generic, actually. I'm wondering if that's the first one, but I don't want to misquote, but I think it's the only one I know, at least. Or I remember. We've seen Fake Blaze, but I want it to... Nah, fuck. We've seen Blaze, we've seen Buddy, we've seen Sophia, we've seen Lean, we've seen Litley, we've seen Bartz, we've seen White Mage, Foil, Vanille, and Normal Prish. Neat. We've seen Ruby Disappointment, we've seen Ramu. We haven't seen Sanctuary Keeper. Damn, we're still getting stuff. 3 cost monster. At the beginning of your attack phase, during each of your turns, choose one forward, activate it, and you get 2k power at the end of turn. It can it doesn't say choose target dull forward. So you can just target an active forward just to give it 2k. So that is relevant. I do tell people that this doesn't have the conditions. I don't know if Water wants to do that, especially when we have Ash, which does it significantly better for all forwards. And if I remember, Ash costs 4, where that costs 3, so there are cards that do it better, I think, in Water. I'm not a big Water player, so I'm not 100%, but I think we've seen Vanille, we've seen Edge, we've seen Matoya, we've seen Dragoon, we've seen Glavat, we've seen Gilgamesh, we've seen the Deathlord, Foil Sarban. I'm sad. It's a cool foil, actually, though. I'll give it that. Oh, I hate you. 1 cost Medine. Light Summon. You must control a light forward to cast Medine. Choose one forward, remove it from the game. I have to be playing a light card to play my light card? Oh! We got the last Chibuki, Maki Chibuki. Now, meh. I want people to... I want some opinions. I can't... Whenever I look at this, I see the alien memes guy. I see... Like, that's all I see. He looks just like the alien memes guy. Am I wrong? Chat, help me out here. Like, I just look at this and just see aliens. Look in my eyes, man. Aliens. Aliens. You see it, right? It can't be just me. Please tell me it's not just me. Please. I will redo those memes with this image on the Final Fantasy groups. Forward 6k. Dull. Your opponent puts the top card of their deck into the break zone. You can only use the ability once per turn. No activating and reuse for you. We learned from... What's the card? Riku? Yeah, we learned from Riku's mistakes. Oh, that's a... Wattrell we've seen and Joseph we've seen. We're not going to put a mill card in Wind, which can be reactivated multiple times and used multiple times. Are you insane? I'm kind of sad, though. We've seen Graf, we've seen Thief, we've seen Terra, we've seen Sophie, we've seen Litley, Varn, the Death Lord. We just saw Sanctukeeper. We've seen... I've got 3 mayors in this! Oh, I guess it's a heroic. Oh, why do I keep doing that? We've seen Ramu, we've seen blah blah blah, we've seen Disappointment. No one's answering me, so I want to know if I'm right or wrong. Looks like the alien dude, I swear. I'm not insane, you're insane. We've seen Lean, Vanille, Edge, Bartz, Tono, Varn, White Mage, Foil, Yuke. Yeah, we've seen Yuke. We've seen Verlude, Behemoth, Ico, and Wall. God, we're getting to the point we're seeing repeated heroics. So I think at this point we're just looking for legends. And the cloud. And the signature cloud. I might have luck once in my life, maybe. Seen Luneth, Aerith, Vanille, Dragoon, Yu, Zac, Chimera, Foil, Disappointment. Ooh, Doga. That fucking art. That fucking art. 5k forward for 2 Earth. When Doga enters the field, you may discard 1 summon. When you do so, gain 2 crystals. Paulie! Paulie! Paul! What is that? What is that? That looks like crystals to me. Those look like crystals to me. Who's right? I need to hear you say it. Who was right all along? Fire and a crystal dull. Deal 7k to all damage forwards opponent control. Oh, 7k is not... maybe. Pay a lightning dull. Pay a crystal. Choose 1 forward. Break it. It works because it's Earth. Crystal generating Earth with the Black Mage. Maybe. This can find a spot. I just don't know what that deck looks like. But this does have a spot. Between Tyro and Shantotto, this may actually do stuff in a crystal generator. Ooh, bad VV, but I still love my VV. Hey, Geech, how are you going? So, oh, holy crap, I just realized something. Vivi, I failed you. I have failed Vivi, guys. I have failed Vivi. I forgot to do something. I forgot to do something very important. Now my video's ruined. It's ruined forever. Give me a moment while it loads. Oh. Guys, am I back? I'm glad I paused during that. Please tell me when I'm back. Hold on. I'm going to put this down for now. All right. Yeah, I'm back. So the thing I was going to say is I forgot to put my avatar up, which is kind of based on Vivi. I'm sorry for the disconnection, but I think we're back now. Hey, 1 disconnection and a bit of lag. It's better than I expected considering I have no net right now, technically. So 1 cost Vivi, which I really love with the Ramu. When Vivi enters the field, you may reveal any number of lightning cards from your hand. When you do so, choose 1 forward, deal it 2k damage for each card you revealed, 3k forward. There are better Vivis, there are better lightning cards, there is a Dragoon that does this also better. I guess if you need Black Mages to the Black Mage deck, but you don't ever play this unless you're desperate, it could work. but even that is a 3-color deck plus, so... I love my Vivi, I love my little brother, but yeah, I'm sorry. We've seen Sanctuary Keeper and we've seen Genova. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that Vivi is not good. That being said, a lot of the Vivis are really cool, and I guess it's just hard to match it. Toya, Sa, Aerith, Monk, Clavat, Shadow Lord, Chimera. We've seen Thief. We've seen Titan. I've gotten 2 dark cards and 3 light cards. Wow, we've seen Furry Wall, we've seen Ifrit, and we've seen Decent Vincent. And we're nearly done, wow. We've seen Snow, we've seen Edge, we've seen Riku. Wait, yes, we've seen Riku. We've seen Undead Princess, we've seen Vincent's, we've seen plenty of Vincent's. Saw Pain, Saw Numu, Foil Leviathan. I'm getting haunted by this card. Y'shtola, we actually haven't read it though. 8k forward, when Y'shtola enters the field, you may receive 1 point of damage. When you do so, until end of the turn, Y'shtola gains haste, and Y'shtola cannot be blocked. When either player receives a point of damage, choose one forward controllers, do 4k damage to it. I actually like this. I actually really like this card. It is a legitimate threat. It's a haste. It's a haste unblockable, deal 4k to something immediately for a damage. Again, receiving damage is not bad, and you're on 2 damage, your opponent is scared to put you to 3, you play this, putting yourself to 3, activate your monsters, activate your 3-cost damage stuff, swing for a point of damage, do another 4k to something because it's unblockable, so you're doing 8k to something possibly. I love this card. I think it reads really well. My one issue is, where's its home? Because unfortunately I think Fire can do this damage without this much work. It's also amiable. And you may receive a point of... The point of damage is not a cost. So if they Ami it, you don't take the point of damage at least. But that also means you don't deal the 4k damage either. So I don't know where its home would be. Scion of the 7th Dawn, but I think Fire is a bad color for Scions. I think Scions wants to be Earth Lightning. Though it's Earth, so maybe you can splash the Fire. I want to do something with this sometime. I'm going to see if I can do something with this. Wall, we've seen. Shiva, we've seen. And Leviathan, we've seen. Kitty. Yeah, Kitty. Wait, Kitty or Bunny? Hold on. Kitty or Bunny? Are you sure? I think that's Bunny. I haven't seen the actual... Like, I haven't played the game. Like, this is 14. I think that's a bunny. Right? Chat, you decide. They're cats? Someone in their genetic line did not fuck a cat. That's my second swear word. I need to stop now. I think now YouTube will start getting upset when I upload it. Hold on, I'm not monetized. I don't give a shit. Fuck. Snow, Algo, Riku, Dragoon, Miyu, Zack, Foil Sophie, Vayne. This is the Vayne that I was talking about before, which I don't think fits in Wind Storm. 4-cost, 8k forward. When Vayne enters the field or attacks, enters the field or at the beginning of your main phase 1 during each of your turns, choose one card removed from the game with a warp counter on it. You may remove a warp counter from it. When a warp counter is removed from any player's cards, draw a card. This effect will trigger. I fucked up! It's when they leave naturally. I should have been drawing more cards. Oh god, I would have decked myself out faster. Oh, I don't know if I fucked up with this card or didn't fuck up with this card. I did not. I thought it was only to his effects. When a warp counter is removed from any player's cards, including opponents. Oh, this can deck you out fast though, but you hope you have won by then. I need to relook at this. Cujo we've seen, Ivray we've seen, and Genova Synthesis we've seen. Oh god, I should have been drawing more cards. Undead Princess. Actually, no, I shouldn't have. It's once per turn. So when I remove the counter at the start of combat... No. I didn't mess up. My brain just took a minute. It's only once per turn. So as soon as... So technically I should have drawn the card before main... So the way I screwed up is I drew the card at combat instead of at main phase 1. Okay, that's where I screwed up. It would have affected stuff, but it wouldn't have decked me out. Undead Princess, Yuna, Flan, Eld, Titus, Larkesis, Numu. Oh, I've got both of them in foil now. Another... Oh my god, okay, I'm just gonna... No, Vivi and... I'm done. I'm done. I am done. I'm sorry, but someone lied to Y'shtola's grandparents or something. Da, Scholar, Zoo, Animist, Tifa, Kane, Pain, Full Art Cherokee! No! I'm actually okay with this. I'm okay with this. I like this card. I'm never going to use it. I'm never going to play the Cherokee card, but I just love them. You shall not pass. I'm getting a sleep for that. Okay, I got my 2 full arts and a crystal technically, so yeah, but it's a crystal at this point. Anima we've seen. Aliens. Sephiroth we saw, yes. And Ridio we saw. We've seen White Mage, we've seen Cloud of Darkness, we've seen Monk, we've seen Bartz, we've seen Yuke, we've seen Garnet, we've seen Tonberry. We haven't... Oh, it's a starter. Oh, yeah, that's right. You get about 2 starters a box. Sid Reigns. 6 cost LC forward 9k. When Sid Reign enters the field, choose 1 forward of cost 4 or less opponent controls. Break it. Damage 3. It gets plus 1k power first strike. Damage 5. When Sid Reigns attacks, choose 1 forward opponent control. Break it. So again, self-damaging decks. And this is 14. No, that's 13. Damn it, I thought it was 14. It would have worked with Y'shtola. But, yeah. But he's a 6 cost. But, yeah. That's an example. Got another Sophie. Ruby Disappointment we've seen. Ash we've seen. And Wattrell. It's okay, I will do the analysis at the end. And it seems every analysis has been fairly on curve because this game is very consistent with its averages. Jinae we've seen, Sars we've seen, Buddy we've seen, Vincent we've seen, Gramps we've seen, Gilgamesh we've seen, Bomb we've seen, Foil Kane. I know some that might want this. We got the next Stooge! I got 3 out of the... I think there's 5 Stooges? God, can we get all of them? 4 cost Laragorn. Stooge. When Laragorn enters the 6 cost forward, Laragorn enters the field, you may search for 1 card named Mobius or card named Kurlax. Play it onto the field. Lightning, Ice, Fire, Dull. Choose 1 card named Mobius or card named Kurlax in your break zone. Play it onto the field. Stooge. Emerald Disappointment we've seen. Leon we've seen. And Nostalon we've seen. I still hate that I've done nearly 3 pre-releases and I've only gotten these 2 full arts so far. I have terrible luck the last few sets with stuff, and I'm getting really frustrated because I have to trade for everything like a scrub. Last we've seen Lean, Behemoth, Algo, Dragoon, Zac, White Mage, Foil, Bufasaur, Lightning. We saw Lightning, yes. Ricard, Alexander, and Nacht. Yeah, we've seen Nacht. We've seen all those. God, it's all starting to blur from the nightmares. Babumptish. I apologize for nothing. Matoyo, we've seen. Luneth, Aerith, Vanille, Clavat, Pain, Chimera, Foil Snow. Realm, I don't think we've seen. 2 cost Ice Water 5k. When Realm enters the field, select one of the 2 following actions. Choose one monster in your break zone, play it onto the field. During this turn, if your next summon of cost 4 or less cast from your hand is put from the break zone, remove it from the game instead. Then cast it again without paying the cost. Okay, so I'll be honest. In terms of monsters, the 5 cost Realm is better. In terms of summons, this may be the card option. I think you'll never see that first ability being used much, honestly. Like, yeah, I don't think you'll ever see that. Yeah. I think you'll always see Bouffalant we've seen, Emperor we've seen, Joseph we've seen. From opponent's break zone, Choose one monster in your opponent's break. Okay, that's even worse. That's legitimately even worse. That's worse! What if your opponent never plays monsters? Yeah, that's bad. At least you can control your deck and your discard. You can't control your opponent's deck or discard. I liked it, but yeah, the 5 cost realm for monsters is 100 times better. Ignore that first ability, in my opinion. Snow we've seen, Edge we've seen, Riku we've seen, Undead Prince we've seen, Monk we've seen. Foil Sadwall. Stratego. I think we've seen him. 3 cost Stratego, EX burst forward, 7k. When Stratego enters the field or is put from the field into the break zone, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 category 6 from among them to your hand, and return any others to the bottom of your deck in any order. Special, choose 1 forward until end of turn, it loses 2k power for each point of damage you received. Maybe, especially with the new Edge. So this and the new Umaru work really well with the Edge. But 3 color CAD 6, I don't know what the backup line looks like for 3 color CAD 6. We've seen Sarah Mobius, both of them. We've seen Vincent. Oh, we haven't seen Ico. So, Ico, 2 cost forward, 5k. Dull 3 active job summoners. Cast 1 summon of 7 cost or less from your hand without paying the cost. That's legit. Like, I think, I don't know how clunky summoners. I've seen someone test it. I think it has potential, but they've not been happy with it. We've seen Monk, we've seen White Mage, we've seen Flan. I love Flan. We've seen Miyu, we've seen Toho, we've seen Numu. We haven't seen Kefka. Look how happy he is. 5 costs 9k forward. If your opponent controls 3 or more forwards, the cost required to cast Kefka is reduced by 5. Yeah, seems reasonable. Brave. When Kefka is put from into the break zone, choose 1 summon of cost 4 or less in a break zone. You may cast it without paying its cost. If you cast it, remove that summon from the game after use instead of putting it in the break zone. Huh. Earthwater Summons has wanted a threat. This may be the forward threat it needs, but I don't know. So, this is the card that may help Category 2. It's in the weirdest color set for Category 2. It's a princess, so it's searchable off Sarah. Again, I don't know if it supports the Rebel Monk side of it. 2 cost princess forward, 6k wind water. Dull it, search 1 card named Scott, play it onto the field. Dull it, choose a Category 2 forward in your break zone, add it to your hand. You can only use this ability once per turn. I guess you can do the top ability, untap, do the bottom ability, untap, do the top ability. But I don't know. 2 seems... I don't know. 2's going to be fighting amongst itself to decide what it can and can't do. Ifrit we've seen, my boy, Vivi, and Leviathan. Lucky 2 packs left. Do you think we have peaked? Do you think I will get more stuff? Do you think my life is still going to be a disappointment? Find out now on Dragon Ball Final Fantasy. I don't know. Seen Monk, White Mage, Flan, Kane, Gramps, Shadow Lord, Lachesis. Foil good. There we go, Umaru. I'm glad we got this so I can give the example for 6. So, 4 cost Ice, 8k forward. Brave, put Umaru into the break zone, choose 1 forward, deal it damage equal to Umaru's power. Discard 2 category 6 characters, play Umaru onto the field dull, and lose the ability during your main phase, and if Umaru's in the break zone. So, yes, you sack this, dealing 8k to something. Then you can play the Edge to do 8k to something, or possibly 2 things if more category 6 died. Then you can play this one back. Or you sack this, kill something, play it back, kill something, play Edge, get 2 triggers off Edge, kill 2 things. So I see where they're going with 6. But again, it's in 3 colors, and I just don't know. Ico. Oh, yeah, we saw Ico. Sephiroth. Right. Last pack. Then we'll do the analysis, and I'll wrap up. We've seen the Scholar. We have seen a Thief. We've seen an Animist. We've seen Litley. We've seen Eld. We've seen Gilgamesh. Try not to show it. We've seen Tonberry. We've seen Foil Gilgamesh. We've seen Veruluta. Kuja. Aliens, man. Trust me. I saw one once. Just look in my eyes, man. I wouldn't lie to you. And I've seen I'm telling you guys, aliens. So we got a crystal. I'll just leave it anyway. It's a crystal. They're about $10 now. So we got 1 legend, 2 legend, 3 legends, 4 legends, 5, 6. I think that's it, but I'll double check. Nope, 7. So we got 7 non-foil legends, which is actually really good, I think. I thought 7 was the average, but I could be wrong. I haven't done this in a while. Got the 2 full arts. We got 1 starter. One starter. I thought I got 2 starters. I thought I got vanilla. Oh, no, sorry, that's legend foil. 2 starters. Then how many legend foils did I get? We got 2 foil legends. So we got... Yeah, I know, I needed them. I need the walls. I actually outright need the walls for the deck. I've been playing walls for the last freaking 2 months. Why am I not getting my wall? So... 7 non-foil, 2 foil, 2 starter, 2 full arts, 1 crystal. And let's see how many heroics. I think the heroic count is normally 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. Am I right? 5, 6. I think I'm plus 1 legend and 1 foil heroic from the average. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've done the box openings. I want to get back into them, but they cost a lot of money, and streaming has been, as you've seen today, some issues, and I do apologize for that. Thank you guys for putting up with it. You guys are amazing. I do appreciate all 7 of you for coming in while I'm just opening packs for shits and giggles. Sabin and Umaru would trigger 4 times, targeting 6 targets if you put Umaru into the break zone 2 times and discarded 2 cat 6. Wait, Sabin and Umaru would trigger 4 times. You mean 2 each, right? No, 6. That's not how that works. Hold on. Sabin... Oh, Umaru's not a... There it is. Okay. I discard 2 cards. I sack Umaru. Right? Kill something. Discard 2 cards. Play Umaru into the field dull. From bin. Sack him again to do another 8. Play Sabin. 2 things have died this turn. He gets 2 targets of 8k. It only kills 4 things, not 6 targets. No. When Sabin choose up to the same number of forwards opponent controls as the category IVs put into the break zone from your field this turn, he would only get 2. He would only see 2 of them. Unless something else had died. You need 2 more things besides him to have died for him to get 4. Sabin into the field, choose up to the same number of forwards opponent controls as category IV characters put in the break zone from the field this turn. No, he only gets 2. I think I'm right. Anyway. On that note, as I was saying, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for supporting the channel, and I really need it. I've been very, very frustrated with the situation with the damage to my local area's net and the time it's taking for them to actually get off their asses, let alone start fixing it, which they haven't even started the repair job yet. Nothing's been started yet, and that's just been... No, but you discarded them. No, from field. Put into break zone refers to from field automatically. That is a rule of the game. Discarding from hand. Yeah. They're from field. No, we worked it out. Cool. We worked it out. It's fine. But I can understand that there are some stuff in... this isn't just FF, a lot of card games, so this is my advice. That a lot of stuff that is implied from a certain zone. So I do ask people to make sure they check that. I do understand, like, a lot of people actually think sacrifice is discarding from hand as well. I've seen a lot of that. It is a very common thing. But no, I'm glad we worked that out.